Good morning. My name is Bita Sadanandan, and today is the 4th of April, 2026, and the time is 6:37 a.m. Ooh. And the area of body we will be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of the sits bones. I'm having a moment. My hair is having a little information management system. Yeah. They say your hair has a spirit of its own. And when would like to be part of the conversation, then we'll let you know. Yeah, with or without breeze. That sounds like Medusa's hair. Yeah. Well, in the Yoga Shastras, Medusa is also fat. That's a little cookbook, fatness. Hair fat. You have the nervous system, neurons having a sheath, which then has information move very fast. So hair also must be having some kind of a sheath that then allows for information to quickly pass through. Well, this is a little reference to the idea of Lalita or Lilith or black hair. Yeah. Goddesses are said to, at least in India, are represented with long, flowy hair. And tangled is also talking about when the hair is not so very free flowing. And then we have a little tangled concerns. But we also don't know dark matter that's also made of space. And there's this idea of wormholes, apparently, but I don't think that's quite the way we see the fabric of time space. Fabric of time space is having threads. So hair as threads and weaving the fabric of time space and planets, stars, galaxies being like particles on a riverbed or a lake bed. Yeah, on the surface. We see them as having a certain movement in the fabric of time space. According to the gravitas of the matter, is the weight of their presence. And life on Earth has a presence, has a gravitas, which we are still looking for, the kind of, yeah. So enlivening life in the multiverse requires us to be in fine relationship with our own particulate matter and the vehiculate matter, where um, our hair is also, well, our brains also function by waves. And there's waves of information. And the sits bones lets us know, kind of, um, in traditional South Indian families, at least that's where I have experience also from. Um, they keep these three stones and they keep a pot on it, and then they put fire under the bomb of the pot. Yeah. And the sits bones are kind of like two of those stones. Another one being the pubic symphysis. Yeah. Kind of has this three stones. And then the fire in the bum. You could also look at it as four. There's a pubic symphysis, there's also the tailbone, forming a nice little, what do you say, kind of like a basket with the muscles, the pelvic floor forming a nice little, uh, well, the pot holder. Yeah. And then there's this idea of, oh, okay. So the wealth of our life held by this weave, which upholds the downtrodden otherwise. Yeah, we are all standing upright on 2 feet, so the weight of our body is held by the pelvis. And then there's this, we wear our underwear as a physical representation, external representation of what the body is already doing to uphold the downtrodden. Yeah. So we're not having um, prolapse or internal organs in some way trying to peek through the holes. Yeah, that would be a little problem. Now, the sits bones, awareness of the sits bones helps keep at least two of the prongs. Yeah, if you're like a diamond and holding on four prongs, it kind of there's more stability there. Two of the prongs would be the sits bones. We will come to the pubic symphysis and the tailbone on another day. Yeah, two at a time, or rather, these two are more easier to pay attention to, because when you're balancing your left and right sides, by what's maintained or what's possible from being aware of the sits bones, how your life shows up is pretty interesting. Yoga Shastras, they also talk about sitting on a bed of thorns. Yeah, you already have it in your body. You have the two sits bones, which are kind of like the pointy bones, which touch the chair when you're sitting. And if you can't feel them, you don't have a certain wellness because you're going to feel the thorns. Well, they kind of give you a certain arm point when you're sitting, just in case you forget that you're supposed to sit up right and not lose your composure, because otherwise the other structures don't have a point, like your legs hold the whole weight of your body in maintaining being human. When you're sitting, you need a reminder. So you have the sits bones. Like the legs, the sits bones remind you that the weight of your body needs to be maintained by these two, which means you shouldn't be sitting or moving in such a way that the sits bones get a little eroded. Now, that would be a problem. Yeah. There could be sciatic concerns or certain other tissue jam concerns. Yeah, a little too soft, not maintaining form, and then you have different kinds of pains in your butt, in your body. There are several areas which maintain their fine balance between, these bones being doing well enough, because otherwise you can't sit. Yeah. Now, I invite you to take a seat on a chair so you can actually feel your sits bones on an Abraham Lincoln chair or a teacher's chair, the old form of teacher's chair, which has it is like a wooden, a chair which has a back that you can lean on, straight back you can lean on, armrest which is at a sufficient length, height that you can place your elbows on, and you can place your feet flat on the ground, which means a chair needs to be of a height that you can place your feet flat on the ground. And you can keep your knees at a 90-degree angle to your hips. Yeah. You can forage for a chair such as this. Your family members at different times of the day, they're going to sit on that chair and at least pay attention to this posture. They'll be regularly becoming, getting a little more recalibrated into having a normal, healthy composture. Over time, you would have to pay your medical bills less. And that would save a lot of money, maybe for kids' college or for investment in further, educational ventures or for future plans, rather than having to pay medical bills. Protection of health is better than prevention of diseases, is better than cure. We could all get to a healthy economy, because otherwise, mother and father earth or life is like, kids are all sick. What's the point of expanding the whole empire and having large infrastructure when kids are all sick? Yeah, we are having a list of diseases, and we are having a sick economy. We need to take care of the health first. So stop giving mother and father life, earth concerns. Be amongst the healthy ones. Yeah. So you'll be amongst the ones who can contribute to us all having a healthy, wealthy, wise, and sustainably, stably healthy, wealthy, wise life. So on that note, you'd also have to have vegetables. So yeah, have your veggies, drink your milk. If you're having a difficulty drinking milk, contact me, because it's an intolerance or an allergy, which means you are not able to tolerate something, which means your body needs to recalibrate health so that you can continue to be tolerant. Otherwise, the fuse runs short. Yeah. Intolerance, fuse runs short, and then the bulb is not on for too long. So you want to have your bulb on for long, which means you need to improve the fuse length. Yeah, fuselage. And the mileage also becomes better. So contact me. These are small, small lives on different parts of the body, but you may need specific attention so that you are going beyond your lactose intolerance or any kinds of intolerance, allergy to something. Something about your body needs to improve. Yeah. That is possible through, well, mighty suite of solutions. No medicines, no visualization, no chants, no beads, no instruments, any of that stuff. So it's a biodynamic method of healthcare. And meristem intelligence in that. specific to each person, to your development, yeah, from your, I can't just say blueprint, but it's more your code of having come into existence in your scheme of things, in your placement in the whole scheme of things. So that takes fine details of um, discernment, because the Sri Chakra is known, but several layers inside the dot is not known. Yeah. So I'm speaking from inside the dot. So infinite information. So it's when you get started that you know what in the world is the dot on top of the Mahameru. What is that dot holding? Yeah. So little from the top, little drops of water, and we have sustainable water in our gardens of Eden. Yeah, we don't want it all to melt fast. Yeah, no. So now the sits bones, the bottom of the pyramid, kind of, so to speak. An alive human body has basically a head, neck, your trunks, ew, your trunk in the sense, your shoulder girdle, your rib cage, your spine, which is the only bone about your abdomen, and your pelvic girdle with the muscles and other features. That's the basic unit, plus or minus limbs. Now you have limbs, you have an ability because of who you are and where you're born in the whole scheme of things. So each of us have our own body unit according to why we have come into existence, what job we have to do, what are the benefits from your set of structures and systems. Some of us are, small wonder and little pack. Yeah. So different sizes. There are kid sizes. There are people without limbs, but different sizes. So that's the kind of unit. That's the kind of work each of us are, according to our body composition, have the role to play in the whole scheme of things. So taking care of our body suit, time suit, is an important part of us being able to do the work that we have come into existence for. That's basically the instrument we are born with, or the textbook we are born with. And we need to keep studying this. It's not just the user manual. User manual is when you can know what is a whole composition. You're born with a textbook. You have no idea what this textbook contains, unless you know how to read it. A lot of people don't know to read this textbook. A few details, yes. You know if you're hungry, you know if you're a little tired. That is, if you know if you're tired. Yeah. You can feel hot, cold, if you can feel hot, cold. Otherwise, you're just doing your work. Yeah. So there is that too. And then there are moments like this when you come to see, oh, you need to, now it's time for a little more upgrade. You need to be aware of a little more parts of your body because you are leveling up to another job requirement. For example, from paying attention to the warmth of your skin, warmth of your body, any sense of softness of your body, to the extent that you can be aware of the softness of your body. If it scares you, pay attention to the softness of your body as much as you can. Yeah? Because that may be what is required in your job upgrade at this point in time. Yeah? So we are like encrypted information and several layers. If you're going to decrypt the information before time, you'll have more information than you need to. It's like you're having more food on the plate than you are ready to eat. You're willing to eat. And then you're going to be like, what are you going to do with all of this? And you'll be juggling with, oh, this and this and this too. And you'll just have overwhelming concerns. Yeah. So you see, and how ingenious this education system is. No, this information, nature's original information system. When the time is right, just that bit of information comes to it. Yeah. So this is what's there. I'm paying attention to flora, fauna, seasons. Okay, no, what I need to be saying at this point in time. So I'm a live spokesperson. Yeah. Information conveyor. Yeah. And also coach, teacher, no, teacher. Because as I'm speaking and I'm illuminated by a matter, and you are illuminated by a matter, there is an education, a learning happening by who's speaking and who's listening, learning. Yeah. So that's how we both continue to be students. Lifelong learning, lifelong is also time. We have to learn about time. People are wondering, what in the world is time? So slowly, we will get a little more familiar with time while we get to a better space from being aware of what our human body is capable of at this point in time. If all of us, if the forest suddenly starts growing up, we'll all get overwhelmed. Yeah. Like a garden, yes, but forest has many kinds of trees. If you are only functioning from this much, that's kind of like the published job market. Yeah. And then there's the unpublished. There's a whole lot that we don't know about. And it may seem quite chaotic because you don't know so much. Yeah. Now, the region of the sits bones. One more part of what you didn't know. You already have this body part, but you didn't know what is possible from it. So I invite you to bring your attention to your bum and pay attention to any sense of hardness about the region you're sitting. So for some people, the entire bum region is hard because they've been sitting anyhow, indiscriminately, somehow just plonking their bum and sitting somewhere because there's a space to sit. And now is the time to pay attention to the tissues, to be able to feel your bum tissues in terms of warmth, softness, warmth and softness. Because when you pay attention to warmth and softness, it may seem uncomfortable. Your nervous system may not be comfortable or familiar with paying attention to your bum tissues because that's not what we pay attention to regularly. Or we may be a little uncomfortable or even irritated. Now, if you feel irritated when I'm asking you to pay attention to your bum tissues or the word bum, okay, let's say buttocks. No, the bottom of your sitting space, yeah, or the region that you sit by. Bum was so easy. Okay, your pelvic floor. Okay, you're sitting by your buttocks and your pelvic floor. Okay, and paying attention to this region may not be what we are regularly used to. So in other words, you may be irritated by words or the kind of words used. There are good words, there are bad words. So if somebody uses bad words, you get triggered, which means your composure, you may be all saintly. Somebody uses bad words and you lose your composure. That's all. That button is all that is needed to be pressed and you'll start going through. Yeah. So easy to trigger you. Yeah. And then we want to have some entertainment. All we have to do is press that button. And then you will start talkie. Yeah. You free entertainment. You want to be a comedian? You have this opportunity of going beyond that trigger point. Yeah. Bum is also referring to the same body part. Different people use different words to describe the same God or love or energy or matter. Different people have different ways of saying the same thing. And we think of what is good or how it should be said. And you're stuck in shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should, would, could. Yeah. And how it needs to be said while the matter is something else. Instead of paying attention to that, you're paying attention to the words and losing the composure, losing hijacking the whole conversation somewhere else. That's not the problem. The problem is this continues to happen in your life or people's life. Something else needs to happen. Something else is happening. That's not a problem. The thing is, what the cooking that needs to happen or the meeting or what is being discussed may not be happening at that intensity, but that's not a problem. You're learning something new, which is also part of how we become healthier as a community. So that the whole group is more informed about the whole group is more informed. So we are a little more tolerant, appreciative of each other's perspectives. And that's also team spirit. When we can see eye to eye, while there are differences, how we understand each other is coming together. Yeah, that's also how we have secular, so to speak, or multiple perspectives able to be appreciated at once. One word, but everybody understands the matter differently, but it's about the same topic. Kind of. It makes life a little easier. And when you are listening to people in your life saying the same words, you are less likely to be triggered, but more understanding of what they are saying. And then we could have some more richer conversations. Yeah. So yeah, that's also how the fuse becomes a little longer. And your allergies come down a little bit. You may be allergic to words, certain kinds of words, and then what becomes possible or not possible because of it. Yeah. Now, similarly with food allergies, because there is milk in it, you can taste certain foods or not taste certain foods. So you don't have an appreciation of a, uh, an entire paradigm of what food makes available because you're intolerant of that thing. Yeah. So others are all enjoying something. They are talking about a world, and you're like, what in the world are they talking about? Because of this one allergy. You can go beyond it. You're interested in going beyond it? Contact me on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. LEARN dot DYNAMICDYNAMICSTILLNESSES.com. Yeah. So on that, join the community. Just leave your, there's a small community there. Or even if you're the only person there, you have a question, you get your questions answered. It's as simple as that. Yeah. You would also contact me. So you would be contacting me at least. Yeah. Even if you find nobody else, we're all on planet Earth, and there is this method by which you can get your questions answered. A person, a group of people, let's get our questions answered and move forward in life. Yeah. Because this is original human intelligence facilitation solutions, things that have not been found anywhere else on Earth. Because I cook them up. I also find them, research and development, and then find the answers to which there are questions, but answers haven't been found in many places. Or find the questions, answers are there, but the questions haven't been asked. The kind of questions that needs to be asked, which then leads to the next stage of the answers. So you would find both of them. So all nice things. So, which is also why the Sitz bone makes a difference, because it's a cooking pot. Your body is a cooking pot. Yeah, 3 stones, milestones, four, diamond. Yeah, Sitz bones, the pubic symphysis, and the tailbone. Now, if you can pay attention to, you don't have to worry about thinking or feeling or noting things that you think is going to disturb the conversation. No, everything that emerges in the space is an opportunity for you, for me, for us to learn too. And we are still on the topic of the sits bones. There are so many things we don't know about different parts of the body. And just about the sits bones itself, there's so much to be learned. And so much that can be learned from just the same area. We are getting familiar with what we have been living our entire lives with, our own body. And a lot of people don't know about several details about our own human body structure. There is this allopathy, Ayurveda, homeopathy, many ways of looking at the same human body. But still, we have also diseases. And World Health Organization collated a list of diseases, which is when we know what all kinds of diseases are there. Some of them have yet to be collated into the list because they don't know their life needs to be seen in these ways too. And as our presence then brings those questions, which then needs to be answered. So in this space, your presence makes a difference in what we get to learn over time. So you are not the problem. The questions that emerge from your presence is not the problem. In fact, that's the solution. Your presence here makes solutions available because that is what is required at this point in time. Which is why when we are having a discussion, there are many kinds of people. What all gets spoken about, what all comes to the fore is according to the health, but also your unique presence in the group. Your presence on earth makes a difference. And if you're being apologetic about who you're being, so much is not becoming available. Okay? So stop being, oh, I'm big, I'm this, because of this is happening. This is required at this point in time. It's also called Kala Dharma. There's always a right time for everything. And through the day, this whole day is about the sits bones, or rather, according to my calendar, I have, the calendar I put up on my website, www.dynamicstillnesses.com. On that, there's a page named Dailies. On that page is the calendar for this month. And I've kind of made this calendar, body parts into 41 parts, 40 of them into 4 parts each. And then the tailbone is the one part, 41st part. And then I put that across the calendar. And so it takes many days. So for this month, there is these body parts. I put that up on dailies, and 1 part per day for an entire day, paying attention to that body part. So today's whole day is about sits bones. So anytime you'd like to have a conversation or we can work on details, there's one more live in the evening, 6:30 to 7. Yeah. So as a group, I don't know who's all there here, who's listening, but or who all would be listening. Okay. Nevertheless, these are the thoughts that's there to be communicated. So yeah, morning 6:30 to 7, evening 6:30 to 7. Our physiological differences, what we eat through the day, how has the day been in the morning versus the evening, they all have a difference in what is getting spoken about, the same body part, morning versus evening. Yeah, you can also have a conversation in the afternoon if you'd like to message me, and then we'll have a conversation. Yeah. So one part of the day, okay, one part of the body, and then over time, the body also gets taken care of, and the life that is managed by this one body part also becomes better over time, because a body is a topology of life as lived. When our body is taken care of, the life as lived also becomes better. There are fine details. To know all those details, you would have to contact me, because, or you can sign up on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com, where I'm slowly making this course called Nirbeeja Yoga. I call it Systematic Health Investment Plan, SHIP. So there's this sea shanty. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was a belly of tea. The winds blew hard aboard it, blow, 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 oh, Billy boy, blow, blow, ow. Yeah. Then there is, soon may the wellman come and bring some sugar and tea and rum. So this wellman is the supply ship. So there are ships in sea, and the wellman is the supply ship, which then brings supplies for the people on at sea. And so I'm like this wellman supply ship, yeah, with lots of goodies. And you pay a little price, and then you have the goodies, and you have your health, wealth, wisdom thought lines a little more restocked. So you have fresher ideas and newer ways of becoming healthy, wealthy, wiser. So they've been waiting for the wellman ships in some time. It's taken some time to, Rome didn't form overnight, Earth didn't form overnight either. So I didn't form overnight either. It's taken some time, and I'm speaking and you're listening. So you're hearing some good news, goodies on the way. This is like Santa Claus, yeah, Secret Santa. So goodies on the way. You like to be part of the producer goodies. So people have the goodies benefit. Contact me. You will learn how to make them. Yeah. So it's called Make in India, but I haven't heard about this anywhere else. I'm in India and I have the Make in India, but also make from our own, well, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Yeah, Bharat also means life and living. Bharat, like the sun on, like Bhaskara, Bhanu. Yeah, so Bharat, and living life in multiverse. So it's all good, nice, good morning kind. Yeah. So, all right. So you like to be Tari Zameen Par, a new dawn, a new light, or how for us to have a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise life? Join the community. You'll slowly start seeing your light shining up, or your unique kind of light, because then you have your own unique solutions to make available. How do you do that? How can you make that available? Slowly. The community also has an effect. At least speaking with me has an effect. That's what I've seen. People talk to me and the lights, their eyes all tinky, yeah, twinkly, twinkly, or some shows up, the smile and all begins to become very interesting, becomes more genuine. That's some of the things that I've noticed. Skin all starts glowing, and so all such details I've noticed. All right. So it's a experiential difference. Yeah. Now, the sits bones. If you're sitting a little more comfortably in your chair, with your awareness of your base of your sitting space, a little more aware, we are doing a good job. And when you're sitting in different places, say you're sitting to eat, you're sitting in your friend's place, you're sitting in a restaurant, you're sitting in some nook corner on the street, you go walking, you're sitting in a nook corner somewhere. Notice how does your sits bone feel, or the region where you sit by feel, because different places could have their own influence on how you can comfortably sit or not, because the environment has an influence on your ability to sit. But when you're aware of your own sits bone, your seat, your sits bones, your pelvis, you can be sitting well while the environment had their own influence. So you can be aware of how the environment influences you, but you will be comfortable in your in your seat, however the environment is. Yeah, this is a big difference. You can be at the mercy of the environment, or you are already having your internal environment and appreciative of the environment around, however things are. So then you will know what is there, not there, and you can contribute in the wellness of the environment. When you are well inside your body and can feel the wellness, when you're sitting where you're sitting, it becomes possible for you to contribute to the wellness of the environment. That's a big difference. Rather than being at the effect of things, you being able to bring about an affect so that people are becoming healthier, wealthy, wiser. Big difference. Yeah. So that's how you be a cause in the matter of your life, but also a cause in the matter of several other people doing healthy, wealthy, wiser. Instead of being a problem, cog in the wheel, you begin to become a facilitator for healthy, wealthy, wise. So you will know when to speak, when not to speak, what is wiser, to be able to pay attention to those details. So discernment. So these are all some of the common sense factors, which is not often taught, or don't know what needs to be paid attention to. So some of the fine details of what Nirbeeja Yoga makes available. So it's a yoga with a difference. No moving a muscle also. Yeah, without moving a muscle, how does yoga come about? No asana, pranayama, dhyana. Okay, they are there, but they're all part of, it's one single practice that has multiple, there has many dimensions to it. And as you go through different stages of development, you become a better person. You become a humaner person. Yeah, a humaner being. And that's some of the benefits where you go beyond your Dashavatara and Dashami cycles. You have your Dashavatara, Dashami cycles, but you become a humaner being, a Shanti promoting being. You bring about peace. So, peace in the pot, 9 days old, some of those details. So your sits bones, you sitting well in the seat of your own body's organism, you being a little more incorporated, at least, and sitting in your own incorporation. Yeah, so you're having your muscles rather than just being muscles. See, it's like Pangaya. When the whole continents came together, it was Pangaya. So we are kind of like continents, a little bit mosaic pieces. And when we get our pieces together, we are like Pangaya and can sleep well nicely in night. Yeah, and then that's a fine little composition, constitution. See, yeah. That's also comfort, but it's also conscience, conglomerate science on how to keep all of them together. Yeah, so some of the details. So if you can sit well a little more in your seat, you're a little more together, a little more Pangaya. Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a Gayatri mantra, you see. So you'll start functioning by a certain rhythm that then enlivens life in the multiverse. Gayatri, Gaia, as in the idea of mother universe, but that earth is in Gaia's womb. But you would be caring for also earth, like your own baby, So, and then from your presence, you begin to start enlivening life in the multiverse. So that takes a little bit of work. Yeah, a little more Nirbeeja Yoga. There are 3 other forms of yoga. You'll get to know about all of that on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. But with all of hearing all of this, if you know there are things that you have not known, and what you don't know is not necessarily something that you should be scared of, then you would be in a little more weller space. then you have been aware of or knew there was this also to think about. Yeah. So what you don't know is not necessarily only things to be scared of. Yeah. There are good things too, or things that you would like to get a little more knowledgeable about. And that's just cool. And this is not available anywhere else because this is all fresh, brand new from my own, I call it Mighty Kitchen, my enterprise, Maritime Intelligence, Mighty, MITI, Mighty Kitchen. So I bake it all fresh, all, piece in the pot, 9 days old, supply chain. So thanks, supply ship. You like to join the, how this is made available, then you would be part of the chain of wellness suppliers. It's a different set of, it's a different way of living. Yeah. Otherwise, we are so much in a deficient, don't have, to actually have. And the bones are saying of haversion canal. So how do you then have enough to be able to give without you going into burnout or losing stuff or having lackluster dreams and what you construct? Yeah, big difference. Yeah. So to have more healthy, colorful, beautiful lives, you would need to contact me because otherwise you have a dearth of imagination. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.